All right, everybody. Figurative language today. This is something a little bit different than what we've talked about so far this year. This is going to be a big thing for us, figurative language, for quite a bit, okay, for probably about a month. We're talking about things with figurative language, and then we're going to kind of move from that and talk about something called poetry. It's going to take us probably until about February. All right, so figurative language, very important this year. First one that I want to talk about today is called Similes and Metaphors. Okay, we should remember this a little bit. We did talk about this when we were writing our narrative essay before winter break. Our goal was to put some sort of figurative language, simile or metaphor, inside of our essay. Okay, so this should be a little bit of review today. But if it is not, if it is something that's a little bit confusing for you, then this is good practice. So today, we're going to start here on this slide, number 2. You can pause this video so you can go down here and type a little bit. That way you can catch up and make sure you're following along. All right, so first, simile. Simile is when we are comparing two things using the word like or as. Okay, let me zoom in here a little bit so you can see. There you go. So a simile is when we are comparing two things. We're saying these two things are kind of like each other, and we're using either the words like or as. So we see those two words, and we're comparing two things, saying that they're similar. That word should sound kind of familiar. Similar, simile. You see those two words, that is a simile. Okay. So if we look down below, you see that there's an example there. The boy was as loud as a. So we're going to say that this boy, we're going to compare it to something. And we're going to say that both of these things are loud. And we're going to use the word as. Okay. So we could just say the boy was as loud as a car. Okay. Could be anything. Could be a whale. Could be anything. A dinosaur. Okay. You know what? I'm going to change that one. We're going to say dinosaur. I like that one more. Dinosaur. The boy was as loud as a dinosaur. All right. So we are saying that the boy is similar. It's a simile, similar to the dinosaur because they're both loud. And I see that word as there. Okay. So boy, dinosaur, both loud. Simile. Okay. Move down here to the second one. Metaphor is very similar. It's the exact same thing. We are comparing two things. Exact same thing. We're saying two things, comparing them. These things are like each other without the words like or as. All right, so metaphor is the same thing, except we don't use those two words. We're saying these two things are like each other. The boy, a dinosaur. In that sentence, you will not see the words like or as. Okay, so we look down here below. It's the exact same thing. We're going to compare the boy to a dinosaur. Same thing. We're saying the boy is very similar to a dinosaur. However, there is no like in this sentence here. There is no as in this sentence. The boy's voice was a dinosaur. All right, that's a metaphor. Metaphor. Okay, so simile does use the words like and as. Metaphor does not. Okay, now the slide that we just typed up right here, you're going to use this slide in order to the next couple of pages. You can see this page here, and we zoom back out. Okay, so same thing. You're going to be talking about looking at these first 10. You're going to be writing in these boxes here if these are similes or if they are metaphors. Okay, so you're going to be looking for those two words, like or as. If it has those words, simile. Okay, if it does not, then it is a metaphor. So see, number one, I did do number one for you. Number one is that dot is as big as a horse. Okay, so we're comparing the dot to a horse. We're saying they're kind of like each other. That's how big they are. And I see the word as in that sentence. That's a simile. Okay, you'll go through to the exact same thing. Number 11 and number 12. You'll be writing your own simile and metaphor. Okay, and then on that next page there, you're going to be completing the similes. Okay, if you have any questions, raise your hand, and Miss Hartman will be around to help you.